Hey everyone, I'm Jen, and I own a veterinary technician relief business.
And I'm Michelle. I own a veterinary technician mobile house call business.
And you are
And you are
listening
listening
to
to
Endless
Endless
Journeys,
Journeys,
the Vet
the
Tech
Vet Tech
Odyssey
Odyssey
podcast.
podcast.
In this podcast, we will be discussing and meeting with credentialed technicians who have created their own path with business ownership within the veterinary space.
Our goal is to help inspire burnt out vet techs before they leave the industry altogether through our stories and the stories of other vet tech business owners.
All right. Before we jump in today's episode, we want to give a huge thank you to one of our sponsors, Action Vet Tech Services, or AVTS.
AVTS is an RVT-owned staffing, training, and consulting agency founded by Jacqueline Phillips RVT, based out of North Carolina with a nationwide reach supporting credentialed veterinary technicians.
What we really love about AVTS is that it was built for technicians. Their entire mission is focused on creating empowering and autonomous career paths for credentialed technicians, so RVTs, CVTs, LVTs, and even VTS specialists.
Their team includes about 30 to 45 professionals with a huge range of specialties, and many of them have been with AVTS for more than 3 years. It's a group that's really focused on leadership education, supporting each other.
AVTS offers flexible relief staffing for clinics and hospitals, RACE-approved continuing education, customized in-house labs and trainings, and consulting for practices looking to improve workflow, compliance, and practice management.
They also create real pathways for technicians to grow into leadership roles, teaching opportunities, and long-term career development, which is something we talk about a lot on this show.
What really makes AVTS stand out is their RVT first owner-led model that prioritizes autonomy, professional growth, and building a strong community of credentialed technicians.
So if you're in a clinic looking for skilled veterinary technicians or a technician looking for new opportunities to grow your career,
be sure to check out Action Vet Tech Services and see how they're helping elevate technicians across the veterinary profession. All right, now let's get into our episode for today.
Monday Vet Tech friends, it is Monday morning or Monday afternoon or evening, wherever you're at. Evening.
Evening here.
Jen, what's up? How are you doing today?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm still trucking along. So, my third trimester, and I feel like I'm back in my first trimester. I'm exhausted, but I'm here. And we are recording a podcast today, and we are talking about marketing. So
Yes.
it'll be a little bit different. We're going to be talking about marketing from Michelle's side, basically, of her business, and then mine, because it is really different. It's not necessarily the same of how you market yourself as a mobile tech and a relief tech. So we're going to talk about just our different experiences and what has worked for us. And because I think it's really important. I think it's, marketing and advertising, that's really big in business. And I mean, as technicians, we know how to do the work, but as far when when it comes to actual business things like marketing, advertising, things like that, sometimes people are a little lost on that. So we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, it can be some murky waters to tread through. I would say we're not marketing gurus. I do
Right.
have a half-ass marketing degree though that I didn't finish, so that kind of makes me halfway qualified. So I remember a few things from those classes, but not much. It's faded away into the brain that's just kind of blurry now. But and I think there's actually one instance where our marketing tactics are the same on how we approach clinics. So I think we're gonna
Maybe.
find some similarities as we talk. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna find out. But yeah, marketing fun. Hopefully AI won't take all of it over. And I believe that there should be some authenticity behind marketing whenever I'm on any sort of like marketing information or like social media platforms. As we go into the world of AI, I feel like more people are going to want to see like more authentic advertising more authentic posts to that way they know who you are
Yeah, because
as a relief tech or
AI
a mobile tech.
yeah, because AI is getting easier to identify for sure.
Yeah.
You can tell the
I haven't used
difference.
much AI. Yeah, I haven't used much AI. I still try to use my head, and I typed out something last week. I can't remember what it was. Oh, I remember what it was. It was a long email to something that was important to me to for a project I'm working on. And my husband's like, "Why didn't you use AI?" And I'm like, "I wanted to be authentic and let them know who I was authentically, so I didn't use AI for this." And it took me about 2 hours of me sitting there with a glass of wine, like telling my whole life story to this email, and I didn't use AI. I stayed away from it. No. And
Yeah.
so yeah, so that's the modern day age we're living in.
Mhm.
So yeah. How was your week, Jen? Anything exciting? Anything not exciting or
No. I was just telling Michelle before recording that yesterday I did work yesterday. I was trying to do about 2 days a week until baby comes. She's due in pretty much 2 months at this point in time. Maybe I like 2 months or less, who knows at this point. Um, but yeah, work is just getting really hard for me. So I worked yesterday and I think that was my last day of work for sure. I'm not going to be volunteering for relief shifts at this point in time. I think that if there's some same day call out shifts, I might be able to go in and do like a short shift, but I am definitely at the point now. I just don't think I can do it anymore. And it made me really sad. And I am really struggling mentally with that. And not really working for an unknown amount of time because I really just don't know when I'm going to be ready to go back to work. So, yeah, that's been a struggle for me. And thankfully, I have the podcast to keep me busy. I'm going to be doing a lot of editing for the next couple of months, probably over the summer too. So at least I'll keep busy with that. So I won't be letting go of vet med completely. But yeah, to just not be on the floor doing what I love to do is going to be really different for me. And then maybe once, a little baby girl comes, I'll have a different priority and I'll feel differently then. But right now I just feel like I don't really have a purpose for anything, which sounds weird. But that's just how I feel. I've always worked. Um, so I just don't know how to process it. And yeah, I'm just struggling a bit there mentally with that, especially I think just being a business owner too. I think it would be different if I was working full time and I was on like a maternity leave and I knew that I had a job to go back to kind of thing. But when you're a business owner, you don't have these job like you don't have a job like lined up specifically and perfectly. And I think that that's a struggle. I don't think we talk about the struggles enough of being a business owner sometimes on this show. I think we talk about the light side of things. We do talk about the difficult parts, but I think that this is a really difficult part of being a self-employed business owner and me, being on maternity leave, not knowing if I'm going to have money coming in during the time that I'm not working. So, yeah, it's a little scary, but it's a part of the process. And so we're just gonna see what happens, and and I'm sure it'll be okay. Like my husband keeps telling me that everything will be fine. We had it all planned, but it's different. I think, like I said, I think that it would be different if I had a full-time job because I knew I would have a job to go back to. But with this, again, I don't know when I'm going to go back to work, and I don't know if those same clinics are going to need me when I am ready to go back to work. So it's a lot of unknowns.
you're right. And thank you for opening up about that cuz I think there's probably so many techs out there who feel the same way. And we were talking about this in the pre-record. It's like we're so emotionally invested into our business and we're told work hard, work hard, work hard, you're a technician, get through this. And I feel like especially when you're pregnant, it's going to amplify that so much more because now you're pregnant and you so many of us, and I'm guilty of it, we wrap a good portion of our identity around vet med, and I don't know why we do this. Like, I don't know what is in with this profession, and we're like, we're vet techs. I mean, we are though. We're fucking superheroes, right? But like, we do that, but then when it comes time to have a baby, or when it comes time to, hey, maybe I might want to go into human dentistry or something weird, there's this internal conflict of like, but I'm a vet tech, you know? I can't, I can. It's weird. So I'm sure a lot of people have those same feelings of that internal identity struggle, just given our profession is made out of passion. And, motherhood, it's so much, it's a lot of emotions. So I can only imagine that. So, I mean, hats off to you for expressing that because I know so many people would suppress talking about these sort of things and not being as open. And they're like, it's great. I want to be pregnant all year round. I want to have 10 more babies. Look at the pretty bows on my belly. And I feel like almost every woman I've ever known that's been pregnant is like, no, this shit is not fun. It is a roller coaster. I'm done. I can't wait for this baby to be out and I'm going to love him and I'm never doing this again. Like, I have known more women to go through that than, spit out rainbows and butterflies everywhere. It's just, it looks hard. And so thank you for coming and doing this because I can tell it's hard. So
Yeah, and like I said, I think it's just different, going through something like this as a business owner as opposed to having that full-time job, um, because it's just, I'm already going through the transition of learning how to be a business owner and then learning how to be a successful business owner and then, starting the podcast and doing all these things that we're doing. And then, also planning for this baby, but at the same time, not being fully prepared and fully ready on what it's going to take, the toll that it will take emotionally and financially and just in the midst of everything else that's going on. So it's a lot and it's a learning experience. And I don't know, I feel like a lot of the business owners that we've spoken to have either gotten past this part. They already have their kids. They've already, their kids are like preteens or they're
adults.
grown,
Yeah.
right?
They're
And so,
self-sufficient.
yeah,
Yeah.
and or people who don't have kids at all.
Yeah.
So me just experiencing this transition of this time of building my business and doing all this, and then now I'm pregnant, and now I have to pause for a little bit so that I can go through postpartum and all of those things, but still want to be successful and I still want to make it to the other side. Like I don't want to stop this. So maybe
I
there's
get what you're
somebody out
saying.
there that's listening that might be in the same boat or think like, "Oh, I don't know how I could do it." I mean, I don't know how I'm doing it either, but I'm trying. So, we're
I
just
know
going
who
to
you
see
can
how it
talk to.
goes.
I know you can talk to. Caitlin Warford. She'll get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. She'll
Yeah.
help out. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. She's a
That's true.
mom.
Mhm.
Yeah, and she's a business owner. I
Yeah.
think I think Caitlin Warford might be your girl to call. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
tag her in the show notes. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think about this. What about the techs who are, full-time at a clinic? Because you mentioned like it might be easier if you were in a clinic at this point because you'd have the clinic to go back to. But I feel like moms take what, 3 months usually maternity leave typically. I've think I mentioned before, I've only worked with one pregnant tech my entire life. She was awesome. I think she took the entire 3 months and we were so excited to have her back. But what happens if the dynamics change for the worse? What happens in that 3 months if there's a leadership change, a management change?
Right.
Your work bestie, your work wife quits or gets fired, and then the beautiful clinic that you love, you go back into, and after 3 months of like having the summer off, you know what I mean? You're like,
Mhm.
oh, this is not what I left off. It could be the opposite way too.
That's true.
I feel like, yeah.
I
So it
didn't
could
think
be
about
the
that.
opposite. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true. So at least and And at least I know too, I have talked to my husband about possibly going back in the fall or the winter time. I don't have to be forced to sit there and be like, "Oh, I gotta go back on this date specifically so that I can keep my benefits," and things like that. I mean, at the same time, we all know, at least people who have been pregnant and know, like, the medical bills that build up, and then, being self-employed, I'm also paying for my own health insurance. Already on top of that, like, I don't have my job paying for my part, half of it or 80% of it or any of those things. It is. It's a struggle. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that it's not a struggle.
Thank you for that line. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, we're making it work. And my husband is very, we've talked about, we've budgeted and we've sat down multiple times to basically reassure me, like, yes, everything's gonna be fine. We're gonna be okay. But it doesn't mean that it's not hard and that it's not stressful. And this is the part of being a business owner is the unknowns. And you have to pay more out of pocket sometimes because you're not getting those benefits and I'm not getting the PTO and I may not get the maternity leave. So, yeah. I mean, those are just, I think, the risks of being a business owner and the vulnerability of being a business owner. So, and then taxes are coming just around the corner, like at the
Fuck
same
yeah.
time.
Oof.
So it's just not a good time. It doesn't mean we're not going to get through it. It doesn't mean it's not going to be a struggle. It just, I don't know. I just felt like maybe that it was just something that needed to be talked about. It's one of the
No,
hardships of
tough.
being a business owner.
Mhm.
It's because it's
Yeah.
not all sunshine and rainbows. And we've talked about
Mm-mm.
that.
No, that's not. Yeah, and I know we got a lot of episodes recorded, but maybe some of the we got I think we have 2 more to record that we can still think of topics on before you leave that'll hold us over until you come back, and, like, we should think of some tough subjects, like, because, yeah, we've shown really good sides with some, "Okay, this is some BS you might run into, like, sprinkled in down the road," but, like, yeah, there's some nitty-gritty in owning your own business, and I can imagine if I were to be in Jen's shoes right now, I'd be freaking out too. I'd be like, are my clients going to go 3 months without me? Who do
Right.
I send them to that's not going to poach them?
Right.
Who am I going to send them to that I can trust that's going to send them back to me? That's, going to keep me updated on everybody. Like that would be going through my head like crazy. I would probably still reach out to all my clients on their scheduled date just to check in with them if somebody else was holding them over. Like I'd be like, "Hey, it's your Thursday. I'm gonna text you between 12 and 2. How's Rover doing?" I think I would still be doing that with like a baby hanging off me just because I wouldn't want to become irrelevant. Like I want
Right.
to be able to come back and have my schedule, have my owners, have my income, have my consistency. And I don't know what that would look like if I took 3 months off, to be honest. I think I'd probably be the one to is like, as soon as baby's old enough for daycare, I'd put them right in daycare, like baby daycare. I would right away because 'cause I'd be so scared to lose my clients. But I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. And I
Yeah,
definitely, and I'm like, that's and my mindset is I don't want to put my baby in daycare. Like I don't want to do that. I want to raise her and I want to take care of her. And so when I do start going back to work, I've got to figure out with my husband, like I'm probably gonna have to work nights so that he can be home with her at night. Um, things like that. And then he doesn't work in the wintertime, which actually really works out for for us, I
that's
feel like,
nice,
because if
yeah.
he doesn't work in the wintertime, then I can really, focus all my time in the wintertime possibly and work full time while he stays home and takes care of baby. But we also want to go on vacation because we don't want to let go of that part of our life either. So we have to really figure out how to budget for baby and for me not working and when I will eventually go back to work. All of these things. So budgeting, I mean, as a business owner, I think we all know we have to budget
Yeah, we do.
and you have to really take budgeting seriously. You really
Mhm.
cannot go willy-nilly with the budgeting as a business owner because you want your business to be successful and you also want to, maintain some sort of lifestyle that you had before as well. So, yeah, it's just another learning process that we're just going to have to get through. And I always think worst case scenario. I always think, the worst that's just how my brain works. Thankfully, my husband is not like that, so he can he can bring me down a little bit. But yeah,
Thank you,
I'm like,
friend.
"We're gonna be poor and, like, we're gonna be in an alley with my baby," and he's like, "What are you talking about? We're gonna be fine." And I'm like, but I'm not working." And he's like, "It's fine, like, it's fine for now." And he's like, "You can go back if you want to." And I'm like, "But what if I don't want to?" And I mean, I think that scares me too, right? I'm like, "What if I
Yeah.
don't want to?"
Yeah, what if you don't wanna go back to work? That's
I
fine
don't
too.
so,
You don't
yeah,
know.
all the
You don't know.
unknowns, like, it's just a lot of unknowns right now.
Yeah.
And with the pregnancy hormones and with the pregnancy exhaustion, it's just not pretty. So, I'm laying it out all right here on the podcast. So,
There you go, everybody. The real authenticity of being pregnant. It is not what they tell you. It is hard shit, y'all.
yeah. Yeah,
Ugh.
it's definitely yeah. So, hopefully someone out there can relate a little bit to what I'm going through a little bit, and if not, then maybe one day. Um, but yeah. So, what about you, Michelle? How about your work week?
Like, one thing stood out, it meant so much to me, like, when people are kind, like, let's just be kind to each other. There's no reason to be mean to other people, there's absolutely no reason for that. One of my good clients, and I adore these people, and I've only been seeing them for a little over a year and like, maybe a year and 4 months at this point. Because I know I onboarded them right when my godfather passed away. I became pretty attached to their dog and them. And one of the reasons why is because they came from that really abusive, strong groomer I've mentioned in my area. Well, she's not even a groomer. We're not even gonna call her that because I don't want to call her that because she's not. She's just a nail trimming lady. And this is an old dog. And he was a large breed Labrador, probably like 13, 14. So I didn't have much time with him as it was. And when I came around, I give him peanut butter. He's on the couch. Like, this dog gives me no problems. Like, Duke was just like, here you go. Here's my hand. I'll just eat my peanut butter. Derp, derp. They're just like the easiest going dog, right? And he passed away, and I was really sad. And the owner, I think I talked about this one before. She's the one who always bakes me the sourdough bread and the homemade cinnamon bread. Yes. And like, and my husband, he knows when it's White Lake Wednesday, he knows I've seen Duke's mom and I'm coming home with homemade sourdough bread. Like, he knows, right? And I told him, I was like, hey, Duke passed away, sadly, I don't think there's much more sourdough bread coming on Wednesdays. Like, he was sad too. He's like making the same face you were, like, oh no. And he was like, well, Duke sounded really nice too. And so did his parents. I'm like, yes, they're very nice people. And they said, hey, Michelle, you want to, go out for a coffee? And I was like, yeah, sure. So they took me out to Starbucks. And one of the first things they did was thank me for being so gentle and so caring with him because they were like, we had that lady for 2 years. And, the last time we had her over, she sent, one of her workers over who walked in with a muzzle. And we're like, well, can we not muzzle him? And she wouldn't not muzzle him. And I'm telling you, Jen, like this dog he's never even like flinched at me. Like, so I feel like I was able to give that dog a last year and a half of nail trimming without being scared, without being forced down by a set of double D boobs. I feel like, he was able to freely eat peanut butter and just enjoy treats and enjoy the process. So them doing that really kind of made me feel good about the work I'm doing.
Good.
And it was really nice to have that reassurance from the owners, after the pet passed away. They're like, we want to meet you. And they gave me some bread and they told me I could still stop by every Wednesday and pick up some bread. So, because I drive right past their house.
That's so nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's people like that. And I'm like, it
I
made
mean,
me
you're
feel really
building
good.
more than just work. You're building relationships and like lasting relationships even after the pets are passed away. So
Yeah.
there's way more
Yeah.
to it than just work.
I know. Yeah, there's way more to it. There's so much more meaning, which is why I continue so hard to advocate for mobile vet techs to have, more access to these pets and more legalities in some of the more difficult states because they don't see the relationships that we're building with these pet owners. I got this dog that was being pinned down to the ground once a month and suffocated. And because this person was also like, I'm the alpha, she's one of those, like, I'm I'm the boss. And she tells the dog she's the boss, by the way. And I think I've heard her hiss at cats. Like people told me she hisses at cats, by the way. So this is
Yeah,
what we're
because that
trying.
works.
I know, right? Yeah. What are you going to do to piss off a cat? You hiss at it. Like, yeah.
What?
Um, I know. I'm telling. This is why I'm like, oh, which we'll discuss a little bit more in the marketing thing of like, be careful who you roll with.
Right.
But yeah, so it meant a lot to me that they had thought so highly of the work I was doing with their dog. And then it made me feel good knowing that for the last year and a half of this dog's life, he felt happiness when nail trim day was around. He wasn't
Right.
scared. He wasn't running. They said that he would run. So that made me feel really good. The coffee was great. They hugged me. I tried not to cry, but I teared up a little bit. But I'm like, I'll see them in 3 weeks because I'm gonna stop by for that bread. And I want to see them.
Yeah.
I hope after a little while they get another dog. After the grieving process has gone through, I want them to get another
Right.
dog just so I can see them. I
Right.
just want to see them.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
So
so nice.
no. So that was the highlight of my week. I'm gonna say highlight. That was a big portion of my week today. Other than that, it was a very quiet week. I did adult investing, and that's cool. I invested into a lot of veterinary stock
Nice.
companies. Yeah, I divested my portfolio. Look at me being an adult. Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. So what do we got? We got a salute for the week and then right into our topic, right?
So we have a salute for today. This is pulled from the Unattached Vet Tech group on February 6th. We have Sarah Mason Piquel. She owns Aristo Pet Care in Bluffton, Indiana, and she transported a pet all the way down to Florida. The pet owner has a house in Indiana and another house in Florida. Sarah drove the 3-year-old Scottish Terrier to the home while the owner flew in a plane. She stated that she does a lot of transports for pets.
If she's doing like long distance, like pet transportation, I'm imagining it's from breeders to homes. And I actually did chat with her a little bit about possibly coming on to an episode once you're back and discussing pet transportation. But I do remember when we were chatting a little bit, it's like, I think she does a lot of like breeders to homes and like long haul ones, which is so freaking cool.
I think that that's better. I am such an advocator or I'm a non-advocator. I am a non-advocator for pets for like puppies being flown to different states to go to homes. Like whenever I talk to people who are not, who just don't know pets very well, but they're like, oh yeah, I was looking into this breeder, but they live however many states, so we'd have to fly him in. I'm always just like, no, do not do that. Like if you really want this dog that bad, you should plan a trip. You should drive and go get the dog.
I would.
Because the amount of puppies that I've seen that have been flown, they are terrified. Just the experience and the trauma that they go through of being flown in a plane and going through all of that whatever nonsense they have to go through. And of course, I mean, think about it, they're getting taken away. I don't know. I just think like they're so little and it's one of their very first experiences, and then they have to be flown in a plane in that loud transportation and underneath the what's it called? You know what I'm trying to say.
Cargo.
In the cargo. Yeah, I've seen some dogs in there and then they're just terrified the rest of their lives. And
Bronson
people are like,
just have a heart attack.
yeah, I knew somebody that did that, and this dog was terrified for her whole life, and they were like, "Oh, I wonder what happened." And it's like, I don't know. I think that the dogs that are flown, I think they have a much better experience if they're just driven. So if this is something that she's doing, and I mean, this is awesome. I think that this is something that is absolutely needed, and I think this is something that could actually really take off. I mean, even just transportation for so many things, not even just for this one. I mean, you can do this for all kinds of things.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you can. Yeah, you can make transportation. I was talking to one of the girls in the association, and she works for a DVM who does like emergency transportation on the side. And she went from, I believe, I don't have permission to talk specifics, so I wouldn't want to mention what states she went to and from because that might give away who she is. But I mean, she went, I think it was like a 3-hour drive one way and a 3-hour drive back, and she got a pretty nice chunk of money for that. But she was working that entire time. She told me what she was doing, and she was in a pet ambulance, and she was nonstop working. And I looked up the company website, and there's several people, and there's a couple DBMs and some
Well,
licensed technicians and assistants. So I think, yeah, pet transportation is becoming a thing, and I like it. I mean, I personally, I drove 3 hours to get Bronson, didn't blink twice. I would have driven 8 hours. Like I wanted Doberman so bad. I was willing to drive from Michigan to Oklahoma for one. Like
yeah, I
I didn't even
believe
think about flying.
my dogs, all 3 of my golden retrievers were 5-hour drives to and from.
Yeah. I think,
So,
yeah,
5 hours there, 5 hours back all day.
it's a fun road trip. Yeah, it's a fun
Yeah.
road trip. You just
Mhm.
go grab your puppy and you come home and,
Yeah.
spray some, Thunder Ease around the car and,
Mhm.
play happy puppy music and just enjoy the trip.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
Load yourself up on some energy drinks and hit the road with some good tunes. I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
And if you
I
can't do
want
it
to talk to Sarah
yourself, it
more.
sounds like there's other
You
people
can
that'll
hire
do it for
Sarah.
you. You can hire Sarah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
hire
awesome.
Sarah. She'll do it for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good work, Sarah. We love it. We want to hear more about this. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. All right. So, meat and the bones of today, marketing. I can only speak of my experiences and what little marketing knowledge I've obtained since 2013 when I went back to school after I graduated tech school. So, yeah, I don't remember much, but I do have a little fun with it. It's interesting. There's 3 points that I will be making is targeting through veterinary clinics, targeting directly to clients, and off the earlier conversation, networking with other companies. So there's 3 main factors that I personally think are important when you're marketing your business. And I do think, Jen, this is targeting with the clinics. The relief side is going to kind of run some parallels to this. Yeah. So one of the first things, if I want to get referrals from clinics, when I first started, I was looking at the clinics who were hiring because I'm like, well, if they need help, they're short staffed, they probably don't want to do the small procedures like nail trims, anal glands, stuff like that doesn't make a clinic as much money as x-rays, blood draws, dentals, full blown appointments. I mean, the profit margins, I believe, are off. So if we're going to have a few techs, why don't we have them drawing blood instead of doing a nail trim, right? Makes financial sense to me at least. So I would find out the clinics in the area who are hiring and I would go drop off goodie baskets to them. Yes, with my business card. So I did. I got some referrals. Currently I have 3 clinics in my area. Nope, 2, because I'm going to talk about one in a few minutes that I will no longer take clients from. So I have 2 clinics in the area that refer to me. So yes. And I think you also need to, when you're working with these clinics and you want referrals for them, there's a lot of things you do and a lot of things you don't want to do. I personally, this is just me. I went through my area and I found out who is corporate and who is locally owned. And I don't waste time giving corporations gifts. And by gifts, I mean like, veggie trays with my cards, coffee with my cards, candy with my cards, stuff like that. Because I don't think that corporate is going to allow that business to go outside of them. Plain and simple. I mean, Jen, have you seen it in the vet tech groups where like a technician will be like, I work for ABC corporate company and they listen to our calls and we didn't have room to get Fluffy in for her rabies vaccine. And then I had corporate, come down on us because we turned away Fluffy. We couldn't squeeze them in. We were short staffed. We were double booked. You know what I mean? Have you heard of stuff like that happening? Because I have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you work for a corporation and let's assume they're monitoring the phone calls and you can't turn away money, you can't turn away business, then
Yeah, and then they just
you
see
can't refer.
competition and everything.
Yes. And I don't think the staff see the competition. The staff probably
No.
want to, yeah,
No.
it's the
It's the business.
corporations.
Yeah.
It's the business. Yeah. So that's why I am not going to put that much time and effort into the corporations around me, just because the simple fact is I know they record those calls. I have been seeing documented cases of technicians saying that, I got in trouble because I sent the dog to ER. Like, so I definitely am not going to spend too much time on those guys because I don't think they're
Yeah,
allowed to
don't
send
waste
out
your
shit.
time.
Yeah, don't waste your
time.
money. Yeah, don't waste your time or money. If they send shit to you, great. I wouldn't hold my breath.
Right.
Yep. One thing that I have done to stand out is I make sure to drop off goodie baskets like candy, veggie trays. Like I said, I drop off edible, cheap food. That's good. No pizzas, obviously, during National Vet Tech Week, right? I'll bring in a pizza with my car. National Vet Tech Week, National CSR Week, and National Veterinary Assistant Week. That's when I drop off my cards along with candy and food and stuff like that. It's just, I want to stand out a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really nice of you too.
Yeah.
Means
I
a
mean,
lot.
if their DVMs aren't going to think about them, I certainly am. And I want them to send those clients to me. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna hook them up. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah,
for sure.
I'm famous for. There's a local coffee shop that's like an hour north of my house. That's where I get all my coffee from. That's what I usually drop off to them. S'mores kits are a big hit, especially during National Vet Tech Week because it's in the fall and campfires, s'mores fall. It's a Michigan thing, so I drop off s'mores kits to everybody. So with my
Nice.
cards. Yep. S'mores kits. Yep. Works like a charm. So yeah, drop
And
off
it's
goodies
different.
during the national holidays. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And it's during the national holidays and it gives them something to remember. And hopefully when they're like, man, we don't want to express Rover's anal glands, like, hey, that girl that dropped off those Hershey bars, maybe we'll send them to her.
Right.
Say this. I've learned this one the hard way. Like I told Jen, there was 3 clinics, but I'm down to 2 that refer to me. Um, I didn't think that this would be a thing, but make sure that you don't have a clinic sending you their high maintenance clients, the HMCs. Think about this, right? Let's say you have Mrs. Smith that comes in with Fido and she's always cranky, always late, always got a coffee in her hands, always looking for a deal, one stock cell phone number, right? You see what I mean?
Oh, I know
What's
I know.
Yeah, we all know Mrs. Smith like that, right? Like we all know who she is. Like who's to say the technicians and the assistants and the CSRs are like, ooh, she can deal with her once a month, not us.
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure a clinic did that to me. So I started telling their clients, "Oh yeah, I'm no longer taking on clients." They've sent me 3 atrocious clients and only 3. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
I
The
noticed the
pattern.
pattern, like the pattern. It was a pattern.
Mhm.
The one client they sent me was very, very nice, but she was a big anti-vetter. Like big anti-vetter. Silver colloidal, I believe it is, was like the cure-all. Did not believe in heart disease, did not exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
But nice. She always showed up. She tipped very well. But every time I went to her house, I heard about, how rotten the veterinary industry was and she didn't like meds. I'm like, so I see why you guys sent her to me. Thank you. Thank you. So when I had the chance to let her go, I let her go. They also sent me, we talked about her on when to fire a client, the one client who was really, really nice. But to this day, I still don't know what happened to her or her dog when the dog got
Oh,
really sick. Yeah, that one where
yeah.
again, nice lady, but truly she needed
Just
some
a weird
help.
dynamic. It was a weird dynamic.
Yes. Yes. So that one they sent to me. And then they sent a guy who called me and was like, "Oh, I need my dog's ear cleaned right away. Dr. So and so sent me." I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah." And I was like, "Well, I can get you in 2 weeks." He's like, "No, I need him like right. Can you just swing in tomorrow or the next day? Like it'll just be real quick." I'm like, I don't work like that, buddy." I was like, "Because you're," and I remember talking to him. I remember exactly where I was at driving down the road. My husband's driving the car. And I remember talking to him. I was like, "Well, because you're clients of Dr. So and so, I can get you in a couple weeks." And he never texted me back. But what he did do was like 2 months later, call my phone 3, 4 times in a row at freaking midnight, texted me twice, "Are you awake? Michelle, can you wake up, please? I need you. I'm worried about Max." I'm like, "Excuse me? You're not even my client." Like, oh, so I sent him a very strongly worded message the next morning about privacy, respect, boundaries. And he's like, "Well, I'm sorry, I won't bother you again." I'm like, "Thank you. Go bother your doctor. Like, go
Mhm.
bother ER. Go bother anybody else because I don't even know you.
Right,
We
and
haven't even met."
that's not what you do. That's not a part of why you're doing what you're doing. And 3 strikes and you're out.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
I mean, you
So,
gave him 3 strikes as far as the
yep.
clinic is concerned. Seems fair to me.
Yep. So, yep, exactly. After that, whenever I get a call from their clients, I'd always say, "Oh yeah, I told Doctor So and So that I'm not bringing on any clients anymore. I'm really sorry." And I think eventually they got the hint, and it just kind of came around. I haven't, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So just keep records of the clients that you're getting from these clinics. I can see that happening. And then on the flip side of it, too, I know at my very last clinic, I had a Yorkie come in once a month, Tasha. She was this obese little Yorkie with her, like she was so big, overweight. I loved her. She's my favorite. I know because I love that owner. I love that obese little Yorkie who came in the purse. That was my girl. I trim her nails once a month. There is no way I was going to send her out to anybody. Like, that was my favorite. Like, she come in the clinic, I was all over her. So I could see where sometimes too, from a clinic point of view, may not always want to send you the best clients because the techs love them. And they're like, no, you're not sending my favorite to somebody
Oh,
else.
yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. Yep. So just proceed with caution. Just make sure you're taking notes on the personalities of the pets and the owners and see if you notice a pattern, please.
Right.
So yeah, that's at least what I've discovered with marketing and trying to get the word out with DVMs. That's what's worked for me. That's what's not worked for me. Um, when it comes to directly working with clients and getting directly to them, it's for me, it's just been one or two ways: Facebook, Instagram, Nextdoor. That's how I've done all of my marketing, most of it, good chunk of it actually. Um, yeah, I will promise you this. And I actually did some research for this episode a little bit. I tried out Nextdoor again, and it's just not there. It's not. I When I first started, my friend told me to get Nextdoor and advertise on there, and I did. But I noticed a lot of the clients were very, very like beer taste wine budget. No, other way around. Wine taste beer budget. I got a lot of clients who would tell me, like, right off the bat, "You're expensive, you're expensive." And at that time, I was way undercharging because I was brand new.
Oh,
Yeah, and it got to the point where I'm like, I'm no longer advertising on Nextdoor. I just was like, I can't do it. The people on here are just, and I have some unicorns from there who I still are good clients. I do. I actually have some clients to this day from like 4 years ago. And then I went to a conference in Kentucky. And I went to a marketing lecture, and I remember the presenter was like, "Oh yeah, advertise on these same social platforms." And I was at the back of the room, and I remember an office manager was like, "Well, I don't want to advertise on Nextdoor." She was the one who actually said those people have like the wine taste beer budget. I again be in the back of the room. I'll never forget. I remember seeing all the heads nod in agreement from all the other people in the room of that lecture. I kind of felt bad for the lecturer at that moment because I was like, "Oof." But I realized I wasn't alone. I was not alone, and that reassured me to stay off of Nextdoor.
yeah.
Yep, just don't. I wouldn't. I tried it out a couple of days ago, believe it or not, just to see if it changed for this episode. In preparation for this episode, girl, I got one message. I got one, and yep, but I changed it. I put my fees up there, which are a lot more expensive than what they used to be. And I used to not put my fees up when I'd advertise. I just,
Yeah.
yep.
You'll get more hits
And
that way.
yes, but then it wastes your time too
Yeah,
because they're like,
exactly.
"How much?" And then they ghost you, and then you feel like shit.
Right.
You're like,
Just a waste of
yeah,
time.
so
Yeah, just
yeah,
put your fees
so
down.
yep,
Transparency.
transparency, and it weeds out the ones who are not gonna. Oh man, she wants XYZ. How much? I'm not paying that.
Right.
I can go at Pet Supplies Plus for $5. Go. This is a
Okay.
luxury service. Go.
Right.
So I found it very interesting, Jen, that I only had one message. I onboarded her. I'll see her in a couple weeks.
Nice.
We'll see. Yeah, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, that's why I just stay off Nextdoor. Advertise in your local community groups. That's where I founded most of my business at, to be honest, Jen. Is in the very beginning. I was like, oh, hi, I'm a vet tech. I worked in a clinic for, 9 years. I'll come to your house. Tee hee. Like, literally, I had no idea what I was doing. I just
Do you
started
put your
throwing it out there.
certifications on there?
Mm-hmm. I
Okay.
do.
So
But I
that
have
they
a
know.
theory about that. Yes, that they know. I list out all my certifications, but I wonder if it's intimidates the owner sometimes that I list out all my certifications.
I don't know. I think that it, like, as an owner, if I were to see those things, I would just, for me, I would say, oh, okay, wow, she really takes herself seriously and her business seriously. And I know that I could trust my dog. I mean, I think for the most part, I've been always outspoken with mobile technicians who are doing this type of business that this is usually, I mean, we've even done episodes where we're talking about it's not always necessarily for that go happy dog that loves visiting the vet clinic and getting treats and is so good for their nail trims and everyone loves them and it's like it's all, sunshine and rainbows, but it is sometimes more for the dogs who are a little bit more timid when they go to the clinic, or maybe they have to be drugged up on gabapentin and trazodone and God knows what else, or, maybe they need to be muzzled, or maybe, they need 4 people to hold them down just to trim 1 foot. And then,
Huh.
okay, come back next week and then we'll try the next foot. It's for those dogs, and you guys are willing to take the time to make it a positive experience and to make it so that they're not so fearful and to make it an enjoyable experience. And like you said, it is a luxury service in that way. And the owner doesn't have to drive anywhere and they can be in the comfort of their own homes. I mean, there's a lot of benefits to it. So for me, if I saw the certifications, I would also know, hey, you get what you pay for, right? Like if I saw the certifications, I would automatically know, oh, she's probably not cheap because she's invested in herself and she's invested into this business. And again, you got to find your people, right? I mean, you want
Yes.
people like that. So I think it's a good idea. I mean, it can be, maybe it is intimidating, but is it going to be intimidating to the wrong people?
Oh, good question. I bet you're right. I've noticed, so in the beginning, I would get a lot more inquiries. Like, and this is just like the Facebook community groups where there's probably like 30,000 people in this area. And also, too, I feel like those groups have become a political playground for people to argue about politics. How are the
Oh, yeah.
roads? You know what I mean? It's
Oh,
more like
yeah,
for
for
that
sure.
stuff anymore than what it was when
Mhm.
I started 5 years ago. So, like, I also got to think the landscape may have changed a little bit as well. And people aren't on there as much. So maybe that's the reason why I'm not getting as many inquiries. But I used to not have my fear free certification, my feline friendly certification, my human animal bond certification. And now I list all those. So I'm like, I don't get as many hits anymore, but I don't advertise nearly as much as I used to. It depends. There's certain routes where I'm looking to puff them up, but then there's certain routes where I'm like, I'm maxed out. I can't take another person if I wanted to.
Yeah.
So it's hit or miss.
I mean, I say you earned those certifications. I mean, you earned the bragging rights for them, and you have the certification specifically for your business. So why not advertise
Yeah,
your
I do. I'm proud of
certifications?
them. Yeah, I'm like, I'm proud of them. But again, it could be like the landscape's just changed a little bit. So even myself right now, I'm in this transition where I'm trying to figure out new ways to market myself. I'm like, I feel like the old ways that I did 4 years ago are not working now. And I've been doing this for so long that my good clients, their pets are passing away, as discussed earlier. So when these pets pass away, I have to fill the route with new ones coming in. So I'll always be taking clients. I'll always be advertising. I'll always be trying to be on the lookout. So I'm doing a few things new. So maybe in 6 months or a year, I can be like, oh, I changed this and I'll have some updates for everybody. So
Yeah.
yeah. Um, my next part would be careful who you network with. For the love of God, birds of a feather flock together. Okay. And Jen, we recorded with Hannah, and Hannah's episode will be out by the time this one airs, right? Yes. Yep, because she's National Veterinary
Yes.
Assistant Week episode. Yes. Okay. Um, in my area, you'll notice when you first start off and you want to network with pet sitters, you want to network with groomers, you want to network with dog trainers, you want to network with boarding facilities, right? You want to network with all these people. You want to check them out first. Don't just network yourself with anybody who comes to you and says, I want to network, because their business may not be clean. And then you don't want to get tangled up in that. And we have that here in my area. I mean, we're outside Detroit, so not much is clean outside Detroit. Like we're like the money laundering capital of the world. We're right by the Canadian border. Like there's some weird stuff that goes on here. So a lot of the businesses in this area are fraudulently founded if you just do a simple search. And when I first started, some of those people reached out to me And I'm glad that I was like, I'm really new. I don't know who I want to, and I wound up aligning myself with really good people who have a solid business foundation, who have a solid reputation. And I feel good about that. I, somebody, a local business, I don't even want to say what type of business they have, but a local business just started following me on all my socials. And I don't network with this type of business currently, but I know I'm not going to network with them if they message me. And that is because I've seen them before out in public with their shirts on, acting a fool.
Hmm.
And it was like my first year of business, and I was at a pet expo, just not as an exhibitor. I was just there as like a pet owner, just buying random stuff for my dogs. And our local pet store was doing one of those, like, was it the dog collar tags? They were doing dog collar tags,
Okay.
and you could get them for free, right? But
Mm-hmm.
there is no limits on there. Like, it didn't say limit one per customer. There is no
Oh,
sign.
okay.
Okay. You see where I'm going with this one? And I was with my friend Cassidy, and we were waiting, and I'm going to tell her I talked about this. It's going to be funny. Me and her were waiting for 45 freaking minutes behind these people that were they're taking up both the kiosks, girl, and they were making like 40 freaking dog tags. And
What?
yes, it was awful. And it was hot, it was sweaty. And I was like, myself and a couple other people were noticing, like, wait a minute, these 4 people all keep on going back and forth to each other, taking up the same 2 kiosks. And we realized they were all together, but they're like swapping out so that way nobody'd really notice. Like they're swapping their positions and just kind of crossing back and forth. So
Shady.
oh, yeah, definitely just like really tacky behavior.
Yeah.
So several people went up and went to the guy, and I guess the manager of the store, whoever was, managing the booth at the expo that day. And we're like, look at how many they've done. We all been in line for 45 minutes. Like, this is ridiculous. And when he tried kicking them out, they're like, there's no signs that say limitation. We can print up as many as we want, no limits. But you know what they did? They had their business shirts on, tied around their waist, so I could see the name of the business. And I will never forget that. I took a picture of them, and I did not put them on social media. I kept it for my own records of like, do not interfere with these people in the future. Like, and again, I'm still keeping them private and their business because I don't want to, do that to somebody I don't know. But I'm glad I know that, and I can draw back on that memory. I'm like, oh, that's who it was, because now they're following me, which is usually what people do when they want to start, like networking with you. They start following you on all of your
Right.
socials.
And not everybody
So
who owns a business has integrity.
clearly these guys do not have integrity.
Right.
Like, I'm
You
not,
want to work with people who have integrity
yes.
and
So watch
respect.
for stuff that, yes, exactly.
And
So yeah,
like
watch for stuff
Michelle
like that.
said, birds of a feather flock together.
Exactly. And by the way, the next year me and Cassidy went, limit 2 per customer.
Yeah. That's how you learn, right? We've talked
That's how
about
you
that
learn.
multiple times on this
That's how you
podcast.
learn.
Sometimes
That's how you learn.
there's
Mhm.
things that we don't think of because we're like, people wouldn't take advantage of that, right? I mean, and we even talked about that in Hannah's episode. And I think that that's always going to get brought up in a podcast like this, in a business podcast. But there's so many things that happen all the time with each of us. My business, your business, we've seen it in vet clinics where it's not something that we would ever think of. And then it happens of like, nobody would take advantage of that. Like, nobody would even think that. I mean, I wouldn't do that. Why would anybody else do that?
Right?
Some people just do. And not everyone thinks the way that we think. Not everybody, some people are shady. Will try to, some people will try to hustle their way out of things, and not in a good way. They will do anything they can to get what they can just for themselves out of selfishness. And we just don't think that way. But something will
People
happen
do.
and then you will learn. Gosh, that's just life, right? I mean, we've even learned
Yeah.
that with people that we're friends with.
Yeah.
Like, my friend would never do that, and then friggin' they
Right?
up and they do it, and you're like, "Whoa, okay, what the heck?" So, yeah, I mean, you have to Yeah, I totally agree. Be careful with who you network with. Be careful who you're friends with.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
think
that one's true
there's a
too.
saying that I love that eagles don't fly with chickens.
I heard that.
Yeah,
Eagles don't
you
fly with
can't, no, no, no.
chickens?
You can't soar with eagles and hang out with flocks of chickens or something like that. You can't
I gotta
expect
write
to
that
soar with
down.
eagles when you're hanging out with the flocks of chickens. You just, why? Be careful who you surround yourself with. And don't, and I mean, it's okay to network and it's okay to talk with everybody, right? But then once you see their true side or you see their true colors, then you know, like, okay, those are just not the people that I need to associate myself with. Doesn't mean that you have to be mean, just like with Michelle.
No,
Like, she's not
yeah.
being
I'm
mean.
not nope.
You can still be cordial in a way and in a sense, but there's a difference between being cordial and putting yourself in that circle with those people.
Yes. Yeah, and that's the thing is you don't wanna get caught up in those circles, so if this individual does wind up DMing me because I don't have a referral for their type of business, I'm gonna politely decline them. I'm not gonna ghost them because I've done that before with another business and I got nailed. And yeah, so I'm kind of prepared for like, hey, I I'm just I'm scaling back on business right now. I only work with XYZ, just something, I don't know, but I'm not going to ghost them. But
Yeah.
again, I'm just glad I noticed that a couple of years ago because now when I was like, wait a minute, who are those people at the expo? I'm like, oh, it's them. They're following me. Oh shoot. Okay, yeah. Because I don't want to be associated with somebody that's going to take advantage of freaking free dog tags. Like, absolutely not. My name will not get caught up in that shit. So yeah, make sure you know who you're networking with. And if you see something like that, just take note because you never know. 4 years down the road, they may come back and try to network with you, and you're going to be like, I want to remember who that was. So that way I don't get caught up with that.
Right.
Um, if another business does want to network with you, and if you know you don't want to network with them, don't ghost them. I did that, and that person got a fake account or one of their bad accounts and left me a bad review. And once me and my sister and my best friend like dug into them, we found the common denominators and we could prove it was her account. I did not want to network with this pet sitter because I already have a wonderful pet sitter that I work with. But I do my digging and I do my research, and she had some pretty serious allegations hanging over her head from her previous community that is like 2 hours away. And I know I didn't want to get wrapped up in her. So she messaged me trying to network with me. I ignored her. I ghosted her. And then she left me a negative review, trying to pretend like she was a client. And it's funny. You can see it on my Facebook page, on my work Facebook page. I got one negative review and she does not respond. And I'm like, you know what? I don't got a leg to stand on. I didn't respond. But also, I know you're that person because the dogs in your picture are her personal dogs. So, like, yeah, it was really silly. And she networks with the same person who does the very aggressive nail trims in my area.
Oh,
And all of them have felonies on their records because they do. They all have felonies. And again, birds of a feather flock together. So, and I know that me and the businesses that I work with, all of us have clean records. We all have our LLCs. And, not to say if you have a felony, you're a bad person or a bad business owner, because you know what? Who knows? I might catch one tomorrow. Like, we just don't know these things.
right.
So, I'm not judging, but there's patterns of behavior. I see it over and over again. So watch who you network with. Just because somebody wants to network with you doesn't mean you have to network with them. Look at them, look at the reviews, l- check them out, stalk them, put them in an app and find out whatever you can find out about them before you tie your name with them. Please, I beg you, don't get caught up in the wrong crowd.
Right. And again, like we've always said, like not everyone's your person, not everyone's your client. Same thing with networking. Not everyone's your people. We're not going to all get along. We're not going to all be best friends. I think a lot of us, we have said that it is important to keep a good community. Obviously, me and Michelle have surrounded ourselves with wonderful people. We have a wonderful community that we've built just with the podcast in and of itself. But at the same time, like not everybody's cup of tea and not everyone's going to be our cup of tea, and that's fine. And so, build your own table. If you if you feel like somebody that's trying to network with you, and you're just like, you're just not feeling it, the vibes aren't there, that's okay. Don't try to push it. I mean, if me and Michelle didn't get along very well and then we tried to do this podcast together, I don't think it would be as successful as it was. Like, it's just it's the way that it is. Some people really vibe and some people really work well together and some people don't, and that's okay. So,
Mm-hmm. Yes. And you got to make sure too, like you're on the same side of integrity
wavelength.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, wavelength. That's wonderful. Yes, wavelength. You gotta make sure you're on the same wavelength. If you're not, it's not gonna work out.
Well, same morals, and I totally agree. Like I said, that's why networking of doing this together has worked so well, because we're pretty much on the same page with almost everything, if not everything.
Mm-hmm.
And we completely agree and we completely trust each other. So, you can't always go into business with people fully being able to trust them and knowing that they're going to be on the same page as you.
You're exactly right. Yes. It's a beautiful way of putting it. Yes. And yes, I will say I am proud of the little community we built. We do. We've met so
Mhm.
many awesome, strong powerhouse technicians doing this podcast. Like I'm just so impressed with the people that we've met along the way.
Yeah.
We're lucky.
Yeah, we really are.
Yeah.
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 No, we've come a long way. Like with the
Yeah.
people that we've met, I mean, like you said, like the powerhouse technicians in our field. It's pretty amazing that they know our, like, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, they know my name, like they know who I
Right?
am, like I used to
Right?
follow these people on LinkedIn and on Facebook and on and Instagram and TikTok and all these things, and now it's like, now you're collaborating with these awesome people, and then and then these awesome people not only are collaborating with you, but they're also like, they actually see you as an equal, and they're like, come sit down at our table, and I'm like, holy shit.
Shit.
Like, but that's what I mean, like when I'm like, if you don't feel appreciated for who you are or where you're at, I mean, I have felt like that a lot. And now, I know all these amazing technicians who think that I'm pretty amazing, and I'm like,
You
holy
are.
shit, like how did that happen? Like, so it does. I mean, networking can be a great thing, but you also have to make sure that you're networking with the right people.
Exactly. Yeah. And you're a pretty badass, Jen. So I could see that. Yes.
So are you.
What's yes. What are your secrets for relief? Like what are your what's worked for you with marketing?
So
What's your secret to success?
so the biggest thing with marketing that I did is I immediately started my own uh, business Facebook page, just to get my business out there, to get followers. And then when I first started, obviously, all I really had were people I knew and people that I had worked with. So I started my business Facebook page, and then I just added all of my past and present coworkers, just to let them know, like, hey, I'm doing relief right now. A lot of it's word of mouth, especially I feel like
Okay.
with relief, that people know what kind of worker you are and what you're interested in doing. And in my Facebook page, I really let it be known that my passions were in emergency and critical care and specialty medicine, because that's really what I wanted to do. And when I first started, I was basically like, I'll do GP if I have to, just to like get my foot in the door into relief, but I don't really want to do GP, but I'll do whatever I need to do. And thankfully I never had to. I still, to this day, I think it's been a
Really?
couple years now, I've not worked relief at a general practice. Mm-mm.
Wow.
No, I've interviewed with a couple, but I don't think that, and I'm going to say that, I'm going to be really transparent.
Not your cup of tea.
I don't think I interviewed well with them, because
Oh,
because
okay,
I was
I love it.
because, well, and it's one of the things, like,
Want to know.
I'm so transparent. I'm just very, very honest. And so I remember at one of my GP interviews, when
What'd you
we started
say?
talking about pay, I said, this is what I'm asking for. And I think I remember, so this is this is something that you do not do, because I learned this the hard
Do
way.
not. Okay.
Is I said, yeah, I mean, I'll work shifts if you guys need me, but if my emergency clinic wants shifts, I'm going to take them over you guys because they're willing to pay me more.
Oh,
Yeah.
but it's honest.
Mhm. I know. Sometimes I'm too honest, though. I've been told that in interviews that I'm too honest.
Is good, but I mean, that's just funny though. I'm not gonna
Yeah. Yeah, and then after I did it, I was like, "God, I probably shouldn't have said it." And I think even the way I said it was a little bit like, I mean, I prefer emergency. Well, I mean, yeah, you guys can call me, but if it's between you and emergency, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna work for emergency because I enjoy it more and they pay me more. And so, yeah, I was like, "Oh, I probably shouldn't have done that." But that's okay. Like, that's how you learn. No, and interviewing, especially like when you do interviews and you talk to multiple people, in that sense, you're gonna get really good at the interviews and you're gonna get really good and comfortable with talking, with the practice managers and with the hospital directors and even with the recruiters. I talked to a lot of recruiters. Another thing I did is I went on all of the Facebook groups for veterinarians and vet technicians. I think I'd say we're probably all on the same Facebook groups as far as
Mhm.
the job networking. Um, and I just posted on there and I said,
You
"Hey,
did?
yeah." I told,
Smart.
I said, "This is my name. This is where I live. I'm credentialed in Idaho and Washington, and I'm in the Pacific Northwest." And basically kind of wrote down that I'm going to be starting relief around, I don't know, I think it started in October of 2022 or 2023, I think. And I just said, "Hey, I'm going to be starting to do this." And I actually had a couple of recruiters message me. And then I did the same thing on LinkedIn. So then I made myself a LinkedIn account. And on my LinkedIn
Smart.
account, it specifically says that I am a relief technician. It has all of my certifications on there. I am really specific on my, because it's basically like you could put your resume on there. So I had my work history on there as well. And just announced that I was going to be strictly relief. And yeah, I have some recruiters contact me on LinkedIn as well. And then networking, of course, on LinkedIn, I feel like has gotten me pretty far. And that's where I found, and then Hound, which we've talked about Hound.
Yep.
I put my profile on Hound and I found one of my travel jobs on Hound. And then I think I found a recruiter that I spoke to on one of the Facebook groups. And she found me another one of my travel jobs. And and then again, I think my biggest ones that are local are just word of mouth. I had worked there before and they were really sad to lose me. And so when I was like, "Hey, I'm doing relief," they were like, "Oh my gosh, we'll take you back and like we'll take you for relief." So I think that is has a lot to do with it too, especially if you depending on what you want to do, if you didn't burn any, and that's why it's important sometimes, and that's why we talk about like don't burn bridges, man. Like just because you need to move on and just because things aren't working out at that time doesn't mean that those people aren't those clinics, those relationships aren't going to benefit you in the future for
Or
something
haunt you in the
else.
future.
Right. Right. So it's always best to leave without burning a bridge. Now, is sometimes it's impossible. I mean, sometimes
Yeah.
you got to get out. But at the same time, that really helped me out with clinics where I had contacted them and I was like, "Hey, I'm doing relief now." And they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's awesome. We'd love to have you back." And then I went back and I did relief for them. So yeah, and then I still have my Hound profile up. I haven't gotten a lot of hits, but I was just telling Michelle I just recently got another hit from a recruiter that says that they're specifically looking for emergency technicians who are interested in emergency and specialty clinics and traveling, which is exactly what I'm
Right up
really
your
interested in
alley.
doing. That's right up my alley. And I was just telling Michelle, I was like, "Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, because right now I'm obviously not working and I'm going on maternity leave, but I don't want to lose any leads right now in case I want to start working again. So I'm probably going to set up a meeting with her and just again be transparent, let her know, have that communication, and just say, "Hey, right now it's not going to work, but if you can keep me on your list, and then we can reconnect in the fall or the winter time. If I don't have anything locally at that time, then we can talk more." So things like that. So word of mouth, I mean, social media can get you really, really far. I
It can.
think that if I didn't have the jobs that I had lined up, I would have been a little bit more pushy on my marketing because I think there's lots of different things that you can do with marketing when it comes to this kind of thing. I mean, you can constantly post, and I've also seen ads for other clinics and urgent cares in my area where I'm like, "Oh, I could do that." But I'm like, "But I don't need to because I already have all my jobs lined up." So, I have still sent out resumes. I have my resume on Indeed for local clinics, and I've had I had a local GP contact me. And that's the problem with Indeed sometimes though, is that they don't actually read your resume. They just
Oh, they
say
don't?
they no, they just look at LVT or CVT, and then they just, and then because it says specifically on my resume, relief licensed veterinary technician. I'm only interested in relief. But I've had a lot of inquiries where they're like, "We'd love to hire you full time." And I'm like, "No, I'm not looking for full time. I don't want
Says
full
relief.
time." It says relief on my resume and specifically just relief. So things like that. And yeah, I just, I haven't really had a hard time. So I feel like with my marketing, I don't know. I mean, it's funny because my husband said, "Oh my gosh, you did so much in the beginning. Like you were on phone calls with recruiters, like you were posting and, you were telling everybody." And sometimes when I look back, I'm like, I feel like I didn't really have to work that
Too
hard to
much.
to find to find the clinics because I think a lot of it is word of mouth and who you know, and your past can help your future in that sense sometimes. So, and then of course, once you find the couple of clinics that you like and that like you, they usually don't let you go unless they just don't need you
Really?
anymore. But even then, like somebody's going to need time off at some point. So,
Okay. Would it be so would your schedule stay pretty consistent before? Because I know right in the past, like, 8 months, it's been pretty choppy, but prior to that, was your schedule pretty consistent of like, "Oh, I do this clinic on these days, this clinic on that day?" Like, was it consistently full like that? Were you like, kinda like how my schedule
yes,
rotates, it would
it
rotate kind
was.
of? Okay. Okay. Alright.
Yeah, it was. But it won't necessarily always be that way because again, just things change when it comes to clinics. Clinics become better staffed or maybe you're not, especially with my travel clinics, like my travel clinics that were 3+ hours away, I wasn't going to all that often because they were so far. And so I was like, I can't regularly relief for you guys on a weekly basis. But if you have a lot of your staff that need time off specifically, then I can come and I can do this particular week. So, I think I would do, like, my travels once a month, and then I would try to stick to my local clinics, weekly.
So, do you feel like it sounds like you did a lot in the beginning, but once you got established, like, they just kinda rolled on in?
Yeah. Yeah, and it was a lot like I said, it was a lot of just, like, putting myself out there, a lot of posting, and like I said, I made my Facebook page, and then I would post from my
I
Facebook
think that's
business
smart.
page so that they could have something to go back to and to just read up on me. And then I did have professional pictures taken. LinkedIn is really big on just looking as professional as possible and having actual professional pictures and to be taken seriously. So for my actual business, I had professional pictures taken, and so I did invest in that as well. And
Me too. Yeah, it's a good investment.
yeah,
Mhm.
I think that it is. I think that it just makes people, and especially if you do it in a way where, if you have your own pets in there and just make it more personable, then they really get to know who you are. I also was looking into doing a website. And then that kind of just, again, like, so if I did it all over again and I literally had no jobs, I would probably do a website too. But I just haven't needed to do it. So with me, I'm just kind of like, well, if I don't need to spend the money on something, then I'm just not going to do it. Because websites can be expensive too. But websites I think are important too, because I think that's another way for them to get to know you and maybe to be able to really just see how serious you are. And again, that's why I liked with LinkedIn, I was able to put like all of my certifications and my work history so that people could see like, hey, I'm really interested in emergency and specialty, and they can see why, because they can see that that's the majority of hospitals that I've worked at, and these are the skills that I have that are more focused towards emergency and that I want to utilize. And plus, I just think emergency clinics are in more need of it than general practice. And
Yeah,
and there's not
let's work
enough.
nights.
Yeah, right. And not a lot of technicians, even veterinarians, they're not really interested in emergency and critical care and specialty medicine or in those hours. So, especially for me, if I'm advertising that that's specifically what I'm looking for and what I'm interested in, there's a lot of emergency clinics out there that need help. So, it makes it easier on my end too, I think, when they see that automatically, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, let's get this girl." 'Cause it just doesn't seem to be very common that people want to do it and are good at it. It's just not as common. So that's why, as relief, if you are interested in something. And so this is the other thing though, is like, don't just because you're interested in it and like say that you're a general practice, like you're in general practice right now and you're like, man, it'd be really cool to be a relief emergency technician. Don't advertise yourself as a relief emergency technician if you've never worked in emergency before, because you will get caught. Like, we know, it is easy to spot. We know exactly. You can say that you have the experience, but as soon as you walk in the door and you start working on the floor, we know if you know emergency or not. So it does not look good for you to advertise yourself that way if you don't have the experience in those specific things. So if you want to be that, that's when I tell people, because I see that a lot sometimes too on like the Facebook groups where they're like, hey, I signed up for Rue and I really want to do emergency. And so I signed up for an emergency shift, but I've never done emergency before. Anybody want to give me some tips and tricks on how to work my first emergency shift? Yeah, no, it doesn't work that way. There's
Yeah.
no easy tips and tricks on Facebook that could prepare you for an emergency shift. And as relief, if you go in, they're expecting you to know those things because they're not there to teach you. They're not there to show you how to do things. They need you there because they need your experience. They need like you're on the floor for a reason. You're supposed to be relieving them of the stress of missing somebody. So you're not there to be taught at that point. So my recommendation is get in with an emergency clinic, whether that's part-time or full-time, get that experience. I would say, gosh, I did not feel like I was fully confident or competent enough in emergency for at least 3 years. And I still
I can
don't
see
know
that, yeah.
everything in
It's
emergency.
scary. The pets are
Yeah.
actively dying, man. They're circling the drain. You get like,
Yeah.
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 How do you feel confident in those situations?
Yeah, and I
I've
mean,
heard
and me sometimes, like, even just emergency intubating a cat, I'm like, fuck, hopefully I can freaking intubate this
that.
cat. It's dying. It's actually really
Yeah.
important. But,
Yeah.
when they're dying and then let alone, like, it's already difficult to intubate a cat as it is. So just things like that. Like, please just, like, don't advertise yourself as something that you're not confident and competent in, because you will get caught and then word spreads.
Yeah,
And
it's the
then,
veterinary industry. It shit
yes.
spreads like wildfire, man.
Yeah. So, but if you want to do it, there are ways to do it. It's just going to take some time. You just can't jump right into it right away. So, but I say even like again as relief, it is good to know and to advertise what you're interested in and what you want to do, because you're going to be happier. Like if you'd rather just do relief for general practice and you really just want to do surgeries all day, say that. Say
Niche
that you're
down.
experienced in anesthesia and that, you prefer to work in surgery, because there's also a lot of technicians out there that really don't like working in surgery. So if somebody
That is
will see
me.
that. Yeah, and so somebody will see that and they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, this person is perfect.
Bring
They
them
just do
in.
surgery all day."
Yeah, bring them in. That way I can go tech rooms.
Yeah.
Would it be fair on that same note, Jen, to be like, okay, so let's say you love emergency, you thrive on it, you're good at it. Would it be beneficial to niche down and not apply for like emergency techs, not apply to like, for example, I have a wonderful fear-free certified cat only practice in my area. Like, I love you, but I don't feel like you would fit in there. Like, you need that
No, I
energy
wouldn't.
of
No, and I would be honest with them if they reached out to me. I would be like, I just I don't refuse to work with cats. Obviously, I work with cats. Um,
but like
I,
I feel like that
but
environment
I would
wouldn't be
not
like the
work at a
environment that you're
cat
used
only
to.
clinic. No,
Yeah.
no, I could not
Yeah.
work at a cat only
Especially
clinic.
one where we go slow and we're like playing classical music and we got the water fountain. I mean, it's so much more different than GP. So I'd imagine like, or I'm sorry, did I say GP? I meant ER. It's so much different from what you're doing. So I'd imagine the techs that do what you do probably shouldn't go towards like a very
Say,
calm environment like that.
I have worked with some amazing technicians who handle cats in a fear-free way and in an awesome way. And I think I think it is needed in emergency sometimes because obviously we all have different personalities and some of us have, I don't know, like we all have different energy, and it doesn't mean that our energy is bad. It just means that we all have different
Different,
energy. I'm
which we need.
definitely one of those people who I believe that everyone has an aura about them, right? And again, it's not that your aura is bad, it's just that it's different, and your aura and your energy is going to work differently with different patients. So I'm still I'm still very, very patient with my patients. I don't know, it's been a while since I've worked at in general practice where I remember how old school medicine was, and it was like we have no patience, we don't have any time. We just need to hold them down and force them to do what they need to do so we can move on to the next one.
No, we
I
don't do
am
that.
I am not like that anymore. I am very,
Yeah,
very
stop doing that.
patient. Um, I if we have to fight them too much, it's just like, nope, nope, we're not going to fight them. First of all, either we're going to give them a bit of a break. So like if we're trying to get blood and we were able to just get enough blood, but you could tell that they're right at that point. It's like, nope, let's give
With
them
the
a little bit of a
yes.
break. And then like let's try again so we can try again. And at that point, if they're still not having it, okay, well then that's when we need to utilize our drugs. And like, I'm not going to fight my patients. I'm not going to fight the cats. I'm not going to fight the dogs. It's not safe for me. It's not safe for the person that's handling, for my assistant that's restraining, and it's not good for the dog either. So I've learned a lot from fear-free technicians and fear-free assistants at the emergency clinics that I've worked at, and even just the way that a cat is handled. I mean, I obviously we know that I'm not fond of fractious cats, but I know how to handle a fractious cat now appropriately, and I will do relief at some clinics where I see the way that they handle these cats, and I'm like, oh no, like no, like we don't need to scruff them. Like we can actually do better. We can do something that's going to calm them down a little bit and still be able to do what we need to do. And I was never that person. I was always the person that scrubbed. I was like, better them to not bite anybody and to just be angry and to do what we need to get done, right? That's how I used to be. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that I didn't used to be that way.
Me too. Yeah. No, me too.
But I
Yeah.
am not that way anymore. Now, like when I go to clinics and I see them, they're scruffing and the cat's upset. I'm like, how about we try a different way? And I'm like, let's wrap them up in a nice little blankie. And you don't actually have to scruff them, but you can like just take the little blankie and you can kind of just like, you know, act like you're scruffing the blankie, but you're not actually, and it's like you're not hurting the cat. You're just keeping them snug as a bug in a rug in the little towel. And that way, if they do try to bite, they're going to bite the towel. They're not going to bite you. You know what I mean? Things like that. So I don't know. I still think that those tactics are still really, really important in an emergency facility. So,
I mean,
like, so fear-free is still really, really important, even in emergency, if not more important in emergency, because their anxiety is way higher than in a general practice.
yeah. I mean, like, just to, like, find kind of, like, what your niche is and hone in on it, like
That's the freedom that you definitely have as a relief technician, I think. And I don't know if
okay.
people understand that it's like, you realize with relief, you can literally do whatever you want. If there's things that, I mean, I mean, we've talked about it with the question of the week. There was the rad badge, and there were girls on there that
Oh,
were
yeah,
like,
I
I
remember
don't
that.
even take radiographs. I don't do
Yeah,
it.
I
I don't
remember
want to do
that.
it. So I just
Yeah.
don't have a badge, because if I don't have a
Okay.
badge, then I don't have to take
I don't have to do
x-rays.
it. Okay.
That is the freedom that you have with relief. But you have to be transparent when you are taking these jobs. That if you are going to be that way, and if you are only going to do specific things, that you're transparent with them, that that is what you're only willing to do. But no, I feel like at the end of the day, like if I had nothing, right? If I had just nothing to go off of, blank slate, and I needed money and I needed a job, like I could do anything, and I'd be willing to do anything.
Yeah. Would you just me listening to you, would it be beneficial for a relief technician who's starting off to list out internally what they like to do the most, what they like to do the least, and then put that on somewhere on their information? I wouldn't say resume because we're not looking for a job. Put it on their information packet, their trifold, that, hey, these are my top 10 things that I love to do. These are the top 5 things I'm most proficient in. Like, for example, I'd be like, I love to do vaccine rooms, give them to me. Like, I feel like if I was a relief tech, that would be something I would do is I'd put out like a list because I'm such a list
Hmm.
pattern behavior person. I would list everything out. And that way, I feel like if a clinic would be like, hey, Michelle, do you want to do anesthesia on this patient that's 15 years old with a heart murmur? I'd be like, that's not on my list of favorite things to do, but I'll do it. Like, I feel
Right.
like, would that be beneficial to think about it that way when you're
So
marketing?
I did do that on my resume. So the way I have my
Okay.
resume set up, I have all of my jobs, and underneath the jobs I kind of have just the basic things that I've done. So I talk about triaging, I talk about restraint skills, I talk about um client communication, done rooms, things like that. So I put that in like my generalized of what I've done at these clinics. And then on the side, I have my skills. So I
Okay.
have my technical skills on there. And
Okay.
that's for me kind of where I feel like I put in the stuff where I'm like, but this is where I shine at. This is stuff I'm really good at. And this is stuff that I really like to do. So and I have it in bold, kind of like these are my technical skills that I have. Like I'm able to place, IV catheters. I'm able to draw blood from pretty much anywhere. I can place urinary catheters. I can read cytology. I think I put like RBC, WBC, diff, platelet estimates, urinalysis, dry and wet mounts, things like that. So, or I can perform cystocentesis. I have blood transfusions kind of on like that side list. So I think that there is a way that you can do that. Um,
Okay.
Mine's just, I guess, not as obvious, because then I have like I said, then I have my general of like, but I do know how to do these. But then on
Hmm.
the side I have, but these are my
No,
technical
not
skills.
okay. I also feel, what do you think about trifolds? Because I know for myself, I'm actually getting ready to do trifolds. They're like 90% done at this point.
Well, I've thought about
I
that.
am, yeah, I feel like trifolds, as much as it's old school, like kind of, it gives
It's
a
another way
lot
for
of pizzazz.
advertising. Mhm.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
different personality in there. You could say like what you like or what you don't like, and you can have that cute picture of you and your dog, that professional mug shot, mug shot, that professional shot, like of you and your dog. Like
Yeah,
I
and
feel
I
like
think the
that would be good.
trifolds would be better than a digital business card for relief technicians because you can essentially put your resume on the trifold and it's all there in a neat little picture and then you can pass them out. Like if you really want to get your name out to all the local clinics in your area and let them know, then yeah, I think doing that and then handing them off to every single one of your clinics and saying, "Hey, if you're interested, I'm a relief technician in the area. I'm willing to help out where needed. Just contact me." And then they can have all your information right there.
And maybe a bag of Hershey's Kisses too, right?
Yes.
That way they remember you.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, you bring food, they're
See,
gonna remember you.
I know. See, and that's why it's so good that Michelle's here, because my love language is not gifts at all. Like I could care less about gifts. Like
Your words of affirmation, aren't you?
I'm quality time and words of affirmation. I think gifts
Okay.
is like, and then touch. Like physical touch is really important to me too.
I'm
I
such
think
not a
gifts
touchy
are
person.
literally like the last on my list. So like so I'm just not a gift person. This is like when I'm with my friends or like when I do anything, I'm always the one in the group that's like quality time, like let's plan coffee, like let's go for a girls' day, like let's do something. Like that's me, that's my love language and that quality time. And then like I don't really give gifts and because
I'm a gift giver.
I
I love it.
I don't care for gifts. Like gifts don't really mean anything to me.
Well,
It's
what happens if
nice.
they're a
It's
good
nice
gift,
to
like
it's nice to
practical?
receive a gift for sure, and people will probably remember you because a lot of people's love language are gifts. So yes, that's why I don't come up with that in my head when when Michelle says it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's such a good idea. It really is, and it's a way for people to remember you. But that is probably just one of the reasons why it doesn't come easily to me because it's just not a part of my love language. But it's a part of a lot of people's love language, and they probably are more likely to remember you for sure. So
Yeah, I mean, it's candy. Most of us love candy. And I will say between me and you, Jen, I did the love language test when I started therapy. I am a words of affirmation. Like if you tell me I'm a good girl, I'm really happy. But I like to give gifts. So I'm a gift giver, but not a receiver. Yeah. I'm like famous for making safety kits, like emergency kits. Like every friend, every family member, if you know me, Jen, at some point you're going to get one in the mail too. I just grab stuff that I see and I put them in kits. I'm like, oh, you never know, you might need like duct tape and aspirin in your car with a flashlight. Like these are just like things we should all have with us. So I make emergency kits for everybody. So you'll probably get one. But yeah, I mean, I feel like if you go to a clinic and you just bring them some snacks or something, I feel like you're going to be remembered a lot more. And
yeah.
let's face it, you can buy a bag of Hershey Kisses for $5.99. And by golly, if that's going to get me in the door, that's going to get me in the door. I'm going to freaking do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just my thinking because that's what I
Yeah.
do. I drop off food to my clinics.
Yeah. And for like vet tech week and stuff, like I try to remember for my clinics too, like to bring them things. I know that I need to get better for vet assistant week and CSR week too, just because it is important for everyone to be acknowledged. Um, but yeah, I just
CSR week's coming up.
I'm
Yeah.
not very consistent when it comes to gifts. I just love spending time with everybody. Hopefully that's enough for most people.
Oh
But
man, now I feel like an asshole.
no, I just feel
I'm
like
like,
because
don't touch
sometimes
me. Don't spend time with me.
with my friends, I'm like, oh gosh, I hope they know that how much I do love them and I care about them. Because like people are always like doing like stuff with gifts, and I'm like, I just want to spend time with you. I'm like the biggest I feel like I am the one that's always like, let's go do something. Like let's make a plan. And so because that's who I am. I'm just a quality time person.
So if a relief tech had a really big budget, maybe if they like spending time with people, they could let's all go do like axe throwing together here, and we'll talk about how great my relief business is. I mean, if it's in your budget, I mean, that's thinking out of the box. But again,
I mean, that's how I
I
feel about the podcast. Like, I feel like,
yeah.
I mean, this is a way of advertising and marketing too. Is this
Yeah,
podcast?
yeah. Some of my clients listen to it, and I'll be like, "Oh God, what did you hear?" Which, by the way, my clients all think you're really adorable. I forgot to tell you that. They're
Oh,
like, your
really?
co-host Jen, she's so nice, she's so pretty. Like they're all following your pregnancy story. Yeah, I got a couple of them who are at like the same timeline pregnancy you are. Like they're gonna give
Really?
birth at the same time you are. Yes, and, like, every month, I got a couple of them who ask me how you're doing, by the way. So, yeah, it is, like, it's yeah, it's good marketing, you know? So, yeah, it's I will say that the podcast is good marketing, but then I'm like, "Please don't listen to this," like and then I've even had a couple of my clients be like, "I don't wanna end up as a TikTok subject." I'm like, Like, that made me feel bad a few times because 'cause I've had a couple of clients actually say that
Well,
to me,
I mean,
and I'm
that'll
like,
make them think, right? And be like,
I
the do's
I've
and the
told
don'ts.
yeah, I've told them. I'm like, "But I keep everything I'm so discreet, like, everybody's Mrs. Smith with Fluffy, like, there's no when I first started, I
Yeah,
would
but
say
people know
first
who they
names.
are. They know their own stories, so.
Yeah, they know their own stories, yeah, and I did, I there is a gentleman who is like this, sexist, racist, homophobic pig, that I was trying to fire for months and months, and I was scared to fire him because I'm like, "He's gonna turn on me." Like, he is always bullying other women, like, in the community groups. Bad. I made a TikTok about him without saying his name. Never heard from him since. I'm like, "It worked. He saw it. It worked." Like,
Jeez. See,
yeah, and I
people,
said
they know who they
yeah,
are.
yeah, because I said something that he said in the community groups, like, there's a mom who was looking for I think it was a plumber at the time. She's like, "I'm a single mom. Can somebody help me out with, like, an affordable plumber?" And he's like, "Why are you single moms always spreading your legs and trying to get something for free?" And, like, I'm like, "That's my fucking client. What an asshole." I'm like, "Oh my god." So I actually said that in the TikTok because 'cause I'm like, "If he's watching this, he'll know it's him." And when I truly
Yeah.
think about him, hasn't reached out since. I'm like, "It worked." Yeah, he was scary to deal with. Yeah, he was really scary to deal with because 'cause I'm like, "This guy's a ticking time bomb." Like,
Well,
he
and I
hates
mean,
everybody.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like I said too, with like, I mean, advertising and marketing, we're pretty authentic. We're showing our true selves on this podcast and like who we are. And, I think that this is also a really good way to get to know people too, of being like, how they would be to work with and things of that nature. So I think there's lots of different ways that you can market. And I think that you can be a lot more creative when it comes to marketing yourself and marketing your business. Social media obviously can go a long ways. Social media can hurt
Yes,
you sometimes in ways
Ken.
though too. So you do have to be careful, like especially when you have your I mean, it's the same thing as like when you get interviewed for a job, right? Most likely HR, the practice manager, the people who you're going to work with are probably going to look you up on Facebook. They're probably going to see things that you posted. So, those are things that sometimes you have to watch out for too, and you have to be careful because you
Yeah.
are a business owner now. And the way that you portray yourself on social media can impact that. There's some people that don't care. That's okay if you don't care. Just know that it could impact you in a positive or a negative way. So, sometimes
It's better to
you
be off social media if, you
yeah.
know, if you're gonna be loudmouth about stuff, because that's also too how you get yourself fired as a client.
And we talked about networking, so just put yourself out there, which I know can be really hard to do in the beginning, but the more people that you get to know and the more people that get to know you, they're gonna wanna work with you, and they're gonna wanna see what you can do too. So, I
Yeah, so put yourself out there. I
think
Put
that's the
yourself
biggest
out
thing.
there. Yeah, niche down to what you like, what you
Mhm.
don't like. You don't
Yeah.
have to do everything.
Yeah.
You don't have to throw spaghetti at the walls until something sticks. I feel like the part I liked the best about your marketing strategy was making your own Facebook page for your work. I also and Kim Gardner, I follow hers. She like her business has one too, and she's pretty active on there. So I
Yeah.
get to see like she was like birthing puppies. Like I feel like there was
Mhm.
something with a bird, or like, maybe it was somebody
Yeah, you can
else's.
do really fun things with it.
Yeah, yeah. If you have pictures of yourself like doing these clinical skills and like I feel like that opens you up a little bit more too. So I feel
Mhm.
like that's like kind of a glimpse into the behind the scenes of Endless Journeys for Jen's business name or Kim's name. I know it's
You have to be careful
I'm trying
though
to think of her name.
because hers is the Locum LBT
The Locum.
PLLC.
That's it. PLLC. Yes, yes.
I do with a lot of the clinics I work at though, there is a no phone policy or like there's HIPAA with some of my clinics that I work for. So that's why I'm not as active as like, taking videos of like, oh, this is what I did here. And because I was doing that in the beginning a little bit just to kind of advertise for social media. But I'm going to be honest, social media is a whole job in and of itself.
Yeah.
And if you are not passionate about constantly doing those social media videos for entertainment, like you will get burnout really fast. And so I could only do it for so long because I wanted my presence of what I want to do is I love talking. I love talking to people. I love having these conversations. This is my form of entertainment of how, I can connect to people. Um, the making the videos on social media just wasn't my thing. So this works out better for me. And I enjoy this more. But also like the clinics, there were some clinics that were just like absolutely not. Like you cannot post anything from our hospital. No patients, things like that. So that is something that you want to be careful with sometimes. Not every hospital is obviously going to be like that, but
I feel like emergency would be more like that than
yeah.
GP, right? I
Yeah.
feel, but I could be wrong. I could be stepping
Yeah.
out of line, but I
But
feel
it
like
is
that could
awesome
be.
that there are some relief technicians that are able to do that, and their hospitals are a lot more welcoming to that type of social media entertainment, but not every hospital is.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually saw a post in one of the vet tech groups. They were looking they were looking for an assistant and I loved it. So cute. It was like must love doing TikToks. So you like to do TikToks. I'm like, I love that upfrontness. I'm like, I like that.
One
And
of
I'm
the
like, yeah.
clinics that I do relief for, they have their own Instagram and TikTok account. And they actually, when I did relief for them, they were like, "Do you want to be in our videos?" And I was like, "Sure, this is fun." And they did actually let me be in a couple of their videos. And so, yeah, that was actually really cool. So some clinics are getting really into that. But some clinics
Yeah.
still are just like, "No, absolutely not. You
Nope.
cannot do that." And you're like, "Okay."
Yeah. Yeah. I have a love-hate relationship with social media. So one of my friends, she works for a very famous TikTok doc in our area. She has like 500,000 followers. My friend works for her and she's amazing. My friend and that doctor. I know both of them. I chat with both of them. It's funny because my friend's like, I don't want to be in them. So like whenever she posts on TikTok, I always try to see if I can see my friend like in the background and the camera like sway to
My
away towards
gosh.
her. But I can never see her. I'm always on the hunt for her. And she knows it too. And I'm like, she's like, you're never gonna see me in them. But it's funny because she has her own TikTok where she's like drinking and yeah. So I think I love it, but I'm always looking for so I feel like it could be on the tech side too, where they probably don't wanna be in it. Because like, I know my friend, she's just like, "No," and I'm like, "You don't wanna be in Doctor So and So's video?" She's like, "No." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Anything else with marketing, with
I don't
relief
think
side?"
so. I mean,
Yeah,
that was just based off of my experience, which I'm sure there's
mine
so
too.
many other things that can be done. And so if anybody has more input on that, or if there's somebody who's listening to this and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I would love to go on and talk about my own experience with marketing," we'd love to have you.
We'd love to hear it,
Yep.
yes, or if you're a technician with a marketing business, we really wanna hear from
Ooh,
you.
yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Because, I mean,
Yes.
we're going off our experiences right now. Like you said your experience, I said my experience,
Mhm.
but to have a technician who actually has a marketing company, I would be like, "Clear the schedule. Come
Yeah,
on."
and I mean, obviously too, like my logo was marketing for my own
That's right.
business too. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I did like a whole logo. Um, and again, it was just and my logo explains more of who I am. When you see my logo, you see like the mountains, which tells you I'm in the Pacific
Mountain gal.
Northwest.
Hmm.
And and things like that. And obviously I have a reason for my name as well. Like all of that means something to me. And I think when people see how much effort you put into those things, they know that you've invested enough in yourself and that you'll probably be good at what you're doing. And especially if you own an LLC, right? I don't think that that was something that we talked about really. Um, but you'll be taken seriously enough. I mean, that's marketing in and of itself too. It's people when they see that you have an LLC.
Yeah. Or a
And
PLLC or a
yeah,
sole
or a
proprietorship.
PLLC.
Yeah, some
Mhm.
sort of legal entity. Yeah, because I know some
Yeah.
people don't do LLCs, but they have a legit legal entity, which is
Yeah.
all the
And
same.
that's
Yeah.
really good marketing there as well. So,
And I say
yeah,
have insurance. Yep.
yes, and and so there might be technicians out there that are listening that are like, "Wow, I had to do way more to get my name out there," or they did different things. So, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I would. I would definitely love to hear it because what worked for Jen may not work for somebody else. What worked
Right.
for me may not work for somebody else. Like
Right.
we're all going to have different experiences, but me and Jen can only speak it on our experiences until we get a technician who owns a marketing business on here. So there's our
Yeah.
call. Please come on. We want to hear
Yeah.
from you.
Let us know.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, we what is it? Disclaimer, Jen is almost about to pop a baby out, so we are not going to be
We're not
doing
taking on guests for a
interviews
while.
for a while,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. We're booked
reach
out for
but
a
reach
long
out
time. Yes.
and we will try to get
I'm
to
making a list.
perfect. Okay.
Yeah, we have 2 on the list. We actually already have 2 people on the list that when you're ready to come back after maternity leave, we're gonna hopefully get them on when you're
Awesome.
back from maternity leave. Yes, one of them was
Okay.
our girl that we did the salute for. So we already got a list growing of people that are gonna be on once you're back,
Perfect.
and they know not to expect anything to like winter, fall, like they're, and I'm just gonna check in with them every couple months and just let them know they're still there. So, yep.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah. Is that
All
weird?
right. Well, this was an awesome episode, and we will talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in to Endless Journeys, the VetTech Odyssey podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and found some valuable insights. If you did, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so please leave us a review and let us know what you think. You can also connect with us on all social media platforms at Endless Journeys, the VetTech Odyssey podcast. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep making a positive impact in the veterinary world. We need you guys. Have a great day.